guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you have absolutely no idea who I am, hi, my name is Agnieszka and I'm Polymer clay crafter. So in the last few months I received quite a few messages here on YouTube, on my Instagram and Facebook, asking me about my tools and materials that I use for my polymer clay creations. Basically, people ask me a lot what to buy when you want to start working with polymer clay, because nowadays there are so many things on the market that it's quite confusing as what's an essential, what's a must-have item, and what's unnecessary. Things are getting tricky because polymer clay tools might be quite expensive. I know it, guys, but please don't let that discourage you from having this amazing hobby. I'm a big believer in finding tools at home and buying affordable stuff. I think that you don't have to have amazing fancy tools and equipment to do cool things. So yeah, today I'm going to share you my favorite tools, art supplies and materials that I always use. I hope you're going to find it interesting and useful, and let's get started. It is very important to work on a smooth surface such as glass or ceramic tile. Normally in my videos I'm working on a piece of white hardboard, but that's just because I use some hardcore lighting while filming, and glass would reflect light, so you won't be able to see anything. But when I'm not recording, when I'm making jewelry for my Etsy shop, I normally use this glass chopping board. It was really cheap. I bought it a few years ago and it's still a-okay. It's easy to clean. I always keep a glass cleaner and paper towels on my desk, and what's the most important, it's completely smooth, so it doesn't transfer any texture to my polymer clay creations. You can safely cut your clay with razor without ruining your desktop. You can play with acrylic paints and make a real mess and then clean it quickly. On the other hand, if you're working on a ceramic tile, another benefit besides previous ones is that you can bake your creations directly on a ceramic tile. So after you're happy with your creation, you just put it in the oven right on the ceramic tile, and you don't have to worry about deforming your creation while you move it from one place to another. Tools. Okay, let's start with needle tools. They're essential when it comes to texturing cakes, cookies, bread, and to be honest, guys, I do not own any professional needle tools, but what I use instead are small and big sewing needles and pins. I'm not going to lie, texturing cakes and cookies might be annoying and painful after a few hours if your tool doesn't have a handle, but here scrap clay comes in handy. Guys, don't throw away polymer clay ever. I learned my lesson after a few years of working with clay, and it's always a good idea to have a box with scrap clay just in case. You can use it as a base for your bigger creations, you can use it to make tools. Clay is quite expensive, so we shouldn't waste it. The other affordable option, which I often use and recommend, are toothpicks and skewers. I love these ones. You can find them online on eBay or Amazon or in a beauty supply stores. They're dedicated for nail artists or nail technicians, but they work great when it comes to shaping your creations. And unlike polymer clay dotting tools, they're really affordable, and actually I found a set of 5 dotting tools in different sizes yesterday it was on eBay or Amazon, I don't remember, but if I will find the link I will put it down below for you guys. If you watched my Q&A video, you know that I love using my scraper blade, and I got it with my ceramic cooktop cleaner. It works great when it comes to cutting small polymer clay pieces, but when it comes to bigger creations, I do recommend investing in a whole set of blades dedicated for polymer clay artists. As far as I know, there's one from Sculpting and it's called Super Slicer. Amako has flexible poly blade, but I have a set from Fimo and it comes with 3 different blades: rigid, flexible and serrated. They're made from stainless steel and they're really easy to clean with rubbing alcohol. And another important tool when it comes to cutting and shaping your clay is a precise knife. You can find these online or in DIY and craft stores. Okay, let's talk about the most important thing, polymer clay. There are various polymer clay brands out there. The most popular are Fimo, Cernit, Sculpting, Cato and Pardo. I use Fimo, and to be exact, Fimo Soft. If you ask me why, it's just because it's available in my local art store. Fimo is made in Germany, so if you live in Europe, it's probably easier for you to find Fimo rather than Sculpting, which is made in America. I was experimenting with Cernit and Sculpting in the past, and in my opinion, they're very similar when it comes to quality. Of course, they're different when it comes to softness, color ranges, baking temperature, or texture, but at the end of the day, they all work great. When it comes to colors, I tend to buy only primary ones, and I use them to mix my own shades. I do recommend it because that way you can save some money, and that's cool. And also you can make your own unique colors, which is even better. By the way, if you're interested in polymer clay color mixing, I can record this kind of the video for you, so if you're interested, just please let me know in the comment section down below. Pastels are essential when it comes to shading your creation and getting realistic effect. There are different types of pastels. You have soft pastels, hard pastels, oil pastels, and pastel pencils, and they all come in two main grades: student's quality and artist quality. Suitable for shading polymer clay are soft pastels, but in my opinion, there is no need to invest in artist quality ones. I also don't think that you have to buy a whole set of pastels either. I myself buy pastels individually in my local art store, and they cost less than $1 for a piece. That way I can choose colors that I really need, and I usually use browns, yellows, oranges, greens, but I have never used blue, purple or pink shades, so buying a whole set of different colors would be unnecessary. Just like with soft pastels, I use acrylic paints for shading my creations. I do have a very small set of basic colors in small tubes, and I like them a lot. They mix perfectly and they work great with polymer clay. If you're like me and you're doing miniatures, you don't have to buy big bottles of paint, as you use only a tiny amount. If you follow my channel for a while, you know that I always use original Fimo gloss varnish and semi-gloss varnish. They're more expensive than other water-based varnishes, so you might ask, hey, but why do you prefer to pay more for a tiny bottle of glaze rather than buying a whole can in DIY or craft store? And the reason is that I had a very bad experience in the past with other water-based varnishes. Things were looking pretty cool at the beginning, but after some time, glaze on my creations became sticky, things were cracking or coming off. So I decided to stick to original Fimo products rather than experimenting, because that was too much. But you know, I'm doing miniatures, so I do not use a lot of this product at all. But if you're doing bigger creations, I would recommend to experiment with other water-based varnishes that you can find in DIY or craft stores, because otherwise it might be quite expensive. Nowadays I use my acrylic roller from Fimo, and it's great because it's extremely smooth and quite heavy, so rolling out a piece of clay with it, it's just a easy breezy task, but it was quite expensive, so to be honest, I was hesitating whether to buy it or not. Before I got it, I was using this plastic roller, which I found on a baking section in TK Maxx or TJ Maxx if you live in America. It is a fondant roller actually, and I paid an equivalent of $3 or $4 for it. And I do recommend it, but keep in mind that it's not as smooth as Fimo acrylic roller. It has thin cracks all over the surface, so your clay won't be as smooth as it could be. But before I had this roller, I was using just a plain glass for rolling out my clay, and guys, it works great. You can use glass or wine bottle, whatever you find in your house, and because they're made from glass, they're super easy to clean and they're super smooth, so your clay piece will not have any unwanted texture. I use two types of brushes, thin synthetic brushes for shading with acrylic paints and soft makeup brush for soft pastel shading. But please don't use your good quality makeup brushes for that. I bought this one in H&M a couple of years ago for about $2 and it works great. So if you have any awful makeup brush that doesn't work on your face, don't throw it away, as it might work with polymer clay. If you watched my tips and tricks video on how to remove lint and dust from your polymer clay creations, you know how important it is to have rubbing alcohol and nail varnish remover and a few cotton pads on your desk. They help in removing dust and lint from your creations. Baby powder or cornstarch is a must-have when it comes to removing fingerprints, smoothing your creation, and keeping your clay from sticking to hands or work surface. I also like having baby wipes around my craft area, as I like to use them for cleaning my hands between working with different colors. Okay guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you're going to find it useful or interesting. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I will appreciate it a lot. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you can click right here, or you can click the link in the description box down below. And yeah, thanks for watching guys, have an amazing day, have a great time crafting, and I will see you in my next one.